The Young and the Restless spoilers. The return of Ashley. Unmasking the imposter. The quiet corridors of the Abbott mansion echoed with the tension that had settled over the family like a dark cloud. Jack and Diane were at the center of it all, their minds occupied with the unsettling presence of Alan, a man who had recently returned to Genoa City under mysterious circumstances. Alan had always been a part of the family's complex web of relationships, but something about him felt off. The man who stood before them now seemed different, and the unease that surrounded him was palpable. Little did Jack and Diane know, their suspicions were about to be confirmed in the most shocking way possible. Ashley Abbott, the ever-vigilant sister, had been away for some time, tending to matters that she had kept secret from even her closest family members. But now she was coming back, and with her she brought a revelation that would shake the foundations of the Abbott family. When Ashley arrived, she wasted no time in seeking out Jack and Diane. Her usually composed demeanor was tinged with urgency, and the seriousness in her eyes made it clear that this was no ordinary visit. She had uncovered something that had the potential to destroy them all, if not handled with care. "Jack, Diane," Ashley began, her voice steady but laced with the weight of the truth she was about to reveal. "The man you've welcomed into this house, the man you believe to be Alan, is not who he says he is." Jack and Diane exchanged worried glances. They had sensed something was wrong, but they hadn't been able to put their finger on it. Now, Ashley's words confirmed their worst fears. "What do you mean?" Jack asked, his voice low, as though speaking any louder might bring the walls crashing down around them. Ashley took a deep breath before she spoke again. "The real Alan is not here. He's been in my care for months, unconscious and fighting for his life. The man you've been dealing with is Martin, Alan's twin brother. He's a master manipulator, and he's taken on Alan's identity with the intention of destroying him, and us." Diane's hand flew to her mouth in shock. "But how? Why would he do this?" Ashley explained, her voice firm and controlled, though the gravity of the situation was clear. Martin had switched places with Alan after a terrible accident that had left Alan in a coma. Using his brother's vulnerability, Martin had taken Alan's clothes, his possessions, and most importantly, his identity. Martin had left Alan for dead, hoping that his brother would never wake up to expose the truth. But Ashley had found Alan. She had taken him in, provided him with the best medical care possible, and kept his condition a secret. She had done this not just out of love for her brother, but also out of fear that if Martin discovered that Alan was still alive, he would go to any lengths to ensure his brother never woke up. "I've been waiting, praying for the day Alan would regain consciousness," Ashley continued, her voice breaking slightly. "But he's still in a coma, and I can't keep this secret any longer. Martin is dangerous, Jack. He's playing a game, and we're all his pawns." The room was silent as Jack and Diane absorbed the enormity of what Ashley had revealed. The implications were staggering. Not only was their family in danger, but Tracy, their beloved sister, was at the greatest risk. Trace had grown close to the man she believed to be Alan, unaware that he was an imposter who could turn on her at any moment. Jack felt a surge of protective anger. "We need to get him out of here now," he said, his voice hardening with determination. But Ashley shook her head. "It's not that simple. If we confront him without proof, he could become even more dangerous, and we can't risk Tracy's safety. We need to wait until Alan wakes up and can expose Martin for who he really is." Diane, always the strategist, began to see the larger picture. "Martin didn't just come here to play mind games," she said thoughtfully. "He has a goal. There's something he wants, and until we know what that is, we need to tread carefully." Ashley nodded. "Exactly. Martin is a manipulator, but he's also calculating. He's not here just to torment us. He's after something, and we need to find out what it is before it's too late." The three of them agreed to keep the truth about Martin a secret for now. They would continue to play along, pretending to believe his deception while they worked behind the scenes to uncover his true motives. But as the days passed, the pressure mounted. Every moment that Martin spent in their home was a ticking time bomb, and they all knew that the situation could explode at any moment. As for Martin, he continued to play his role with chilling perfection. He wore Alan's clothes, spoke with Alan's voice, and even mimicked Alan's mannerisms. But there was something in his eyes, a coldness that couldn't be hidden, that made Jack and Diane wary. They could see it now. Every smile, every gesture was calculated, designed to keep them off balance, to make them doubt their own instincts. And then there was Tracy. Sweet, trusting Tracy, who had no idea that the man she had grown to care for was plotting against her family. Jack and Ashley watched her closely, their hearts breaking as they saw how vulnerable she was. They wanted to warn her, to protect her, but they knew that doing so could put her in even greater danger. The days turned into weeks, and the tension in the Abbott mansion reached a boiling point. Ashley spent every moment she could spare at Alan's bedside, willing him to wake up, to reclaim his life, and save them all from the nightmare that Martin had created. But time was running out. Martin's behavior was becoming increasingly erratic, and it was clear that he was growing impatient. Whatever his plan was, he was getting ready to set it in motion, and the Abbotts had to be ready. Then, one evening, as Ashley sat by Alan's bedside, something miraculous happened. Alan's hand twitched, and his eyelids fluttered. Ashley's heart leapt in her chest as she leaned forward, her voice trembling with hope. "Alan, Alan, can you hear me?" Slowly, painfully, Alan's eyes opened, and for the first time in months he looked at his sister. He was weak, disoriented, but there was a spark of recognition in his eyes. Ashley's relief was overwhelming, but she knew that their fight was far from over. "Alan, you need to tell me everything," she whispered urgently. "Martin is here, pretending to be you. We need to stop him before he destroys our family." Alan's voice was barely a whisper, but it was filled with determination. "I'll tell you, everything," he promised. "We have to stop him." With Alan finally awake, the Abbotts had the weapon they needed to bring Martin down. But the question remained, would they be able to expose him before it was too late? And what would happen when Martin realized that his brother had returned, ready to reclaim his life and his identity? The stage was set for a confrontation that would leave Genoa City reeling. The Abbotts were about to face their greatest challenge yet, and the outcome would change their lives forever. As the pieces of the puzzle began to fall into place, one thing was certain. With Ashley and Alan back in the game, the Abbotts would stop at nothing to protect their own, no matter the cost. This narrative adds depth to the characters' motivations and the dramatic tension, exploring the dangerous dynamics at play, while maintaining the suspense and emotional stakes of the original plot.